Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my humble casa, my hacienda, and my house here in Livingston, Montana. Okay, today's date, let's see, what do we got here? We got Tuesday, the 8th of February of 2022. Now, first of all, my wife told me this morning that I needed to clean up my act. So, so maybe some of you will find this funny. Probably a lot of you won't, but whatever. So I put me two American Legion poppies right here, because I'm a Vietnam veteran, which, may matter to you, probably doesn't, but yeah. And she gave me this little box so I could elevate my microphone there a little bit so you can hear my lies better. Just kidding. Don't get all twisted up. Have a sense of humor. Matter of fact, I'm kind of proud of myself because I haven't made any rant and rave videos ever since the beginning of the year, because I made up my mind at the beginning of 2022 that I was going to keep my channel positive if it was the last friggin' thing I did. Done, whatever. You want to know why? Because we got way too much negative around us, especially if you're staring at these computers all day long, if you're looking at the news all day long, you're watching too much YouTube and all that stuff. That's one thing that I've discovered being a YouTube creator, that negativity and drama and all that kind of stuff sells, or gets you a lot of subscribers, or get you a lot of thumbs up, or whatever have you. Old guy like me sitting here burping and belly aching along, I'm going to tell you where it gets me. Nowhere. Well, anyway, that's enough of that. What I thought I would do here, this is improv, okay? I got no script. I got no text in front of me. I got no teleprompters. I got no nothing. It's like most of my videos I do. But I thought I would talk just a few minutes about the economy here in Montana. I get asked about that from time to time, considering I've made X amount of hundreds of videos about the state of Montana. Okay. As of this date, which I've already stated, February of 2022, I'm going to tell you what the deal is. Okay, you take like this property of mine right here. I bought this in 2004. The guy wanted $140,000 for this place. Remember, 2004, not 2014. Yeah. Anyway, through real estate negotiations and everything, I got him down to $134,000. This is about an 1,800 square foot home, sits on 1/4 of an acre, a detached garage, etc., etc. It's nothing fancy, but it's all I got. Okay, I happen to know firsthand right now in today's real estate market, which inflation has gotten up here in Montana, as far as I'm concerned, the prices of stuff and inflation is out of sight, out of this world. But this place right now was worth around $375,000. I know doggone well that I wouldn't take any more than any less, than $350,000. I mean, in other words, since 2014 up to 2022, where we sit right now, this place has tripled itself in value. I think I got the math right. And that's one of the problems with people moving to Montana. I've entertained a lot of emails, a lot of questions, and all that. One of the biggest problems with the economy here in Montana is you've got lots of jobs out here paying in that $15 to $20 range and all of that stuff. But yet, it is very difficult, especially for young people that's got no credit history or whatever have you, to buy a place. Now, I'm in South Central Montana, but it's the same way it is. I've got some grandsons that live over in Billings. It's the same way over there. I'm not exactly sure what the real estate market is there because I haven't been looking, but I've got a daughter and a son-in-law that live over in Gallatin County. This is Park County. You're not going to be able to get into a place. Now, pay attention here. Some of you need to hear this. You're not going to be able to get into a place over there in Gallatin County for anything less than $500,000, 500,000 pesos, my friends. Personally, myself, I consider that. I know where you live, it might be that high, the cost of real estate and everything, but I consider $500,000 redonkulous. You could have bought, when I was a kid growing up in Montana, you could have bought 2 ranches for $500,000. I know I've got a son-in-law and a daughter that live over in Belgrade. That's Belgrade, Montana. That's in Gallatin County. And they paid over $600,000 for a home last year. So what I'm basically saying is the wages around here, unless you're a professional, unless you're a doctor or something like that, the wages here, if you're just like working at the local Dairy Queen or working at the local McDonald's or just whatever, the wages don't support you to buy any kind of property. It's even hard for people to rent. A lot of people want to know what, like in this Livingston area, Park County, you might want to know what the rent here is going to run you about $1,500 a month. And then, like I say, this is February of 2022. $1,500 a month for rent. Somebody's got to be out of their friggin' bird. And I realize in New York City you're going to pay $3,000 or $4,000 for a flat or whatever they call them in a high rise. Well, this isn't New York City, thank God. Don't get mad. Don't get mad. But this is a far cry from New York City. Never did I see such a lopsided economic situation as what we have here in Montana right now. Because, you almost have to work 2 jobs in order to afford to either buy a place or rent a place. You definitely got to be a professional, making up there around $50, $100 an hour if you want to boil it down to hours, or working for some great big, high sum of money, whatever have you, or you've blown into this state here with a lot of money to begin with. So yeah, your salary, it better be pretty high. But the problem of it is, it used to be an old Western state, way up here in the northwestern part of the United States. Nobody hardly knew anything about Montana until the 60s, the 1960s. Then people started sneaking in here from New York, California, Pennsylvania, wherever, Florida is snooping around. And then the next thing you know, the land grab was on. Montana's gold rush really didn't happen back in the 1800s. It's happened in the last 10 years or so, last 15 years. It's been a land gold rush. And then you got these clowns that are coming in here, buying up whole ranches, buying up big parcels of land, sitting on it for a year or so, and turning around and selling this stuff that they just bought or whatever have you for 3 times more than they paid for it. That's another problem. Why? Because that jacks the price of everything up. That's why a lot of native Montanans, don't get mad. I'm just telling you the way it is. A lot of native Montanans like myself, whatever have you, don't like this influx of out-of-staters coming in here and buying up everything because it jacks up the price of, the average local Montanan can't buy a home here. And that, I've talked about this a few times on my channel, but I figured this needed to be addressed again. It's just, like I had a grandson that visited me from Billings here the other day, and he is living with his brother, another one of my grandsons, and they're just barely making it, even though one of my grandsons works 2 jobs. James is my grandson. He works a job. So you got 3 jobs going for a household of 4 people, because one of my grandsons, my younger grandson, is married and got a kid. Well, actually, he's not married, but that's my personal business, nobody else's. But, and so that household there has got 4 people and 3 jobs supporting it and is barely making it, and I think their rent is like $1,300-1,400 a month, and that's over there in Billings, and Billings is a lot bigger of a city. I don't have the figures right offhand, but it is way bigger than Podunk, Livingston, Montana. Livingston, Montana is about 7,000 people that live here. There's about 15,000 people that live in Park County. And Park County is not a very big county. Montana's got over 50 counties here, so there you are with that. But you go up here in Paradise Valley. On my channel, I've showed Paradise Valley so many times I'm running out of things to talk about or whatever have you. But that land up in Paradise Valley or just around here in Livingston is expensive, in my humble opinion. It's not as expensive as stuff like, say, in California, San Francisco, or whatever have you. But nonetheless, as far as Montana standards goes, it's expensive. And there's lots of jobs here, too. That's one thing I wanted to drive home here on this video. There's lots of jobs, but they just barely pay enough. Barely. They don't even really pay enough for you to own your own home, or even rent, unless you've got a lot of money to begin with, or like you're a professional doctor, lawyer, some kind of deal like that, But even a lot of professionals avoid, now pay attention here. Some of you need to hear this. There's a lot of professional people, I know this for a fact, excuse me, that avoid Montana because the money just isn't here. I have a son-in-law of mine that lives, my youngest daughter, they're in Atlanta, Georgia, and he has a job with I don't even know. I can't remember now, but he's got a master's degree in accounting. He makes a lot of money. I don't know what it is. I think it's like, 150 or 200,000 a year. Well, the thing of it is, here in Montana, chances are, my son-in-law and my daughter would like to move here and all that stuff, but Nick knows, and my daughter knows, that they're not going to make that kind of money here. You see? And that, but that's another thing I got to say. I know there's a lot of people that might be looking at this video, might be. I run a small channel, as everybody probably knows. But if your desire to live into Montana for the fresh air, the fresh water, the fishing, and the hunting, if that kind of stuff like that, and the scenery, because we've got world-class scenery here, world-class everything, skiing, that's another thing, snowmobiling, that's another thing, and all that. If you want that kind of lifestyle, fine. But chances are you're never going to get rich. So you have to make up your mind, does money mean more to you than a Montana lifestyle? I want that to soak in. Think about that. Does money mean more to you than a Montana lifestyle? Because, if you're an unskilled worker and all that kind of stuff, chances are you're going to end up working at a $15, $20 an hour job. Yeah, you can make it all right, but money's going to be tight. And like I say, it used to be years ago, I can remember clear back in the 60s when my stepdad was working for Plum Creek Lumber in Pablo, Montana. You know what he made? This is going back in history, but I remember this all too well because money was something we didn't have. But he was making $2.75 an hour working on a tail saw. I'm not going to get into all that because a lot of you people maybe understand how sawmills work and some of you don't, but he was running a tail saw. $2.75 an hour, And I can remember the day when I was out working for some of these ranchers and putting up hay and doing all kinds of stuff. I was making 50 cents an hour when I was a kid. I'd work my tail off all day long, 8 hours, 10 hours, make $4 to $5 in a day. That's a true story. But now, that was in the 60s, in the mid 60s. But now, if you're not pulling down at least $20 an hour, which I find to be a little weird compared to, back in my day, back in the day, but you can't make it. So that's the economic situation. But I will tell you one thing that is going on, especially over there in Gallatin County, is the construction business. Now you can get fairly good wages and stuff working construction because there's a lot of building going on there. There's some building that's going on here in Park County, but not near as much as what's going on in Gallatin County. Over there, it looks like matchstick haven. There's wood frameworks everywhere you go. Now, how much time do I got in this? See, this is 15 minutes. Here I am making a video that nobody's going to watch. So watch it. Make me feel better. Just kidding. I better get gone. This will be up here on 16 minutes before you know it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to take care of yourselves. I hope this answered a few questions about the economy here in Montana. We shall see you on down the trail. You know how that goes, and all that. And adios, my friends. Take care, because of the coronavirus. And just take care of yourselves in general, okay? Adios, my friends.